Bungie not done with Halo after Reach. God of War 3 is install free, and Mario Metroid out sooner than you think. Get you one! This is Inside Gaming for February 27th, 2010. What up, woman haters? This is Inside Gaming, and I'm your host, the Dead Pixel. Welcome to another episode where we're going to talk about games, news, and hopefully Batman. Let's do it! Hey, were you like so many other people scared that Halo would suck if it was done by someone else besides Bungie? I'm not calling out Halo Wars, I'm just saying. Rumor is that Bungie, those guys who make Halo, might actually make another Halo after Halo Reach, which totally goes against everything that they've kept saying over and over. Anyway, Bungie community and franchise director Brian Gerard was talking to CVG saying, you know, it might be premature to say we'll never, ever make a Halo game again. We sort of have a special little place for Halo in our hearts, but for the foreseeable future, this is it. So there you have it, kids. Like Michael Jackson, we're done. But there still are other theories out there, such as Halo Forerunner. God damn it, how many times do I have to say this? According to the Guinness Book of Records, Batman Arkham Asylum is the greatest superhero game ever. And that's really good news because Warner Brothers just bought Studio Rocksteady, who made the game. So that's great. For those who don't know, Warner Brothers owns the rights to DC Comics, and DC Comics has cool characters like Superman, and The Flash, and Aquaman. Wow. DC sucks. The PS3 is an amazing console. The problem is Blu-ray. Yes, it's great. We can hold big games like God of War 3, which has been reported to have 35 gigs of space. The problem is we can't stream those things fast enough, so we have to install games onto our hard drives. Speaking of God of War, you won't have to be doing that at all. Hell no! The game only takes up 5 megabytes of space, and the game will stream lovely just like the other two. Yay! Go God of War! Over on the PC front, you may now check out the new Steam user interface, which is currently in beta. Personally, I've been using the new update for a couple of days now, and I really like it. Switching the back end of the WebKit interface has been a very smooth transition. I really like the fact that my games are in really big button form. I'm just not really a big fan of the user interface navigation, which are these gigantic text things. Kind of lazy. But hey, it's in beta, so it's going to get updated soon. I like it. Over on the rumor side of things is that Red Faction 4 and Saints Row 3 will be shown for the very first time at this year's E3. Now, me just being a lowly game journalist has no idea if these rumors are true. In the meantime, we're doing a giveaway for some Saints Row 2 license plate frames and some Red Faction Gorilla keychains that Volition gave to us. Personally. To get your own keychain or license plate frame, follow us on Twitter, where we'll be doing a special hashtag of the day. It'll be something Saints Row or Red Faction related, and you can get yourself a little piece of glory. Good news if you are no fan of the summer slump. Super Mario Galaxy 2 and Metroid Other M are both planned to launch this summer. So yes, it is finally time to buy a Wii if you haven't done so already. Join me now as we take some extended first looks. Shall you? This week we had 2 very special download-only titles making their way onto our consoles and PCs. First up was the latest expansion in the Borderlands series, aptly dubbed The Secret Armory of General Knox. This rings in the 3rd set of DLC for Gearbox's shooter/RPG hybrid and is by far the most prodigious of the 3. Retailing for about $10, the 1.6 gigabyte download sets itself apart by actually pushing the narrative and action forward, more like an expansion pack rather than a one-off mission series. Items and characters from past DLC packs also make their way into Secret Armory, like Mad Moxie from the 2nd set of downloadable content. It's a nice touch, and it feels like the planet of Pandora is becoming more and more fleshed out. So, what's new here? Aside from a few vehicles and bad guys, old characters like Scooter are back and given a much larger role.
Oh, smoking Jesus titties, Cinnamon, that is a monster! That's gonna be sweet!
It's been said that over 30 new enemies have been added, but aside from the occasional monstrosity or boss, some of these feel like reskins rather than all new challenges. It's not a deal breaker, especially with some of the new surprise midgets, more than making up for the lack of truly new characters. Now, my only true gripe lies solely with the sheer amount of driving you are asked to do. Like any Unreal Engine title, vehicles tend to be the crux of Epic's next-gen game engine. far too many times that I get stuck, roll over, or just plain die because the driving portions are just clumsy. Yes, the new vehicles have some new features, like a lock-on rocket launcher or speed boost, but careening into a wall and sticking to it just gets old. Thankfully, though, there is the all-new Lancer, which allows 4 players to occupy the vehicle, each manning one piece of it, and it's pretty fun. Speaking of which, once again, it is highly recommended that you play the game with 2 to 3 other friends. Borderlands is and always will be a co-op game. That's not saying you can't play the new DLC by yourself, but you might find that it's just a little tougher from time to time. Overall, this is a stellar add-on to one of the greatest games of 2009. Personally, out of the 3 packs, this one is definitely worth your cash, as it feels like it actually pushes the series forward. Next up on our Oddity of a First Look segment is the all-new StarCraft II beta. StarCraft II is the sequel to quite possibly the greatest RTS of all time. Now, that previous statement is arguable, but I damn well know that Korea still isn't playing Command & Conquer competitively on live television. It's been about 12 years since we last saw our Protoss, Terran, and Zerg friends in RTS form, and we're finally getting a sneak peek via exclusive beta keys straight from Blizzard. I only had enough time to take on a few skirmish matches as the Terran against the default AI, which is currently not very hard at all. But what I really wanted was to get an overall feel for the game. The very first thing I noticed was that the game did feel familiar. Almost too familiar. From a distance, one might even think that nothing has changed in the past decade, except for maybe the graphics, but thankfully this is not the case at all. Yes, the overall feel does handle like the classic StarCraft we all know and love. Clearly this was intentional, as to not piss off the core audience, and really, if it's not broken, don't break it, just make it look prettier. Within minutes of booting up my first game, my initial instincts came rushing back, as if I had played through the first game just weeks prior. All of my favorite shortcuts and commands worked just like they did before, yet there was enough changes to the core units and structures that everything felt fresh. Hearing my first Marine utter his iconic catchphrase was a chilling moment in itself, and seeing all the new upgrades made me feel like I was finally playing a proper sequel. I didn't get much time to delve too deeply into any one faction. I do have a job. But like I said, I just wanted to get a first taste of what the new StarCraft was all about. My overall feeling is that this is more like StarCraft 1.5 rather than 2.0, and that is quite possibly the best decision Blizzard could have made. They know who they're catering to, and they know exactly what we want. I don't need 1,200 new units, a new faction, or the ability to spin my camera around. I just want to relive the magic of my favorite RTS with a new coat of paint. We still have no idea when the final game is coming out, so until then, I, hopefully like many of you, shall be playing the hell out of the beta, and will continue with my updates of each faction. And until then, Radio Free Zerg.
I control the groove.
Alright, that about does it for the first looks. Let's take a look and see what you had to say.
Please hang up and try again.
First up is YT360 Galore, who asked, do you think Battlefield Bad Company 2 has what it takes to knock Modern Warfare 2 off its high horse? Okay, look everyone, I'm getting really tired of the comparisons here. Modern Warfare and Battlefield are 2 extremely different games. They have been since day one. Stop comparing the two. Battlefield's fun if you like to squad-based big battle blow shit up. Modern Warfare is fun if you like to run around and just shoot things one-on-one. It's different type of gameplay. Next is our friend Brandon Stuck, who asked, what software do you use to edit the show? I own a vid editing biz myself and would like to know. So you're in the video editing business and you want to know what editing software to use. And last we have EO Shemin, who asks, if you actually go through with the podcast, will it have the same segments in the show, or will you use a different lineup? Ah, yes, of course, the fabled Inside Gaming podcast. Yes, this is something that we are still working on and we still want to do very, very much. Format-wise, the show may be different. We're still working the kinks out on that, but look forward to something being very, very cool. I promise. Alright guys, that about does it here for us this week. Thank you so much for watching. We love you. Be sure to follow us on Twitter. That's where we give stuff away using special hashtags. And we'll see you again next week. Later.
Look at your man. Now back to me. Now back at your man. Now back to me.